guys, today I want to talk about my driving racing setup here. This is something I recently built, and the last couple of videos I had somebody reach out and ask me about some computer specs for my setup. They're interested in building one themselves and wanted to know if the computer they're using could run Daytona USA, which is a very popular arcade title. So I reached out to the individual and I mentioned I was going to be filming, something on my driving setup here, and I can definitely help out, and hopefully this will help others as well. So I just want to talk a little bit about my inspiration behind building the setup here. Many years ago I had a full-size arcade here in my basement, and I had about 23 machines at one point, and four of them in particular I really enjoyed playing, to the point they were my last ones to be sold off, and those were the most difficult ones to let go. The titles were Chase HQ, Continental Circuit, Outrun, and Cruising USA. And so for the longest time I've been wanting to build something, because playing driving games with the joystick just isn't fun. But also purchasing a cab, converting everything over, getting the cabinet down into the basement isn't always the best solution. Neither is it a feasible one, specifically with this my basement stair setup. So I thought the best solution would be one of these Playseat type of options. And so it's fairly simple in the sense that you get the Playseat, you get obviously the mounts for the steering wheel, your pedals, and then your gear shifter as well. And paired up with a good computer, you're able to play pretty much anything that you remember playing from your childhood. And so I ventured off and I started building this around arcade games like Outrun, as you see here. And the list grew longer and longer. So I have quite a bit of diverse game selection within my setup. So I don't want to go too in depth with everything, but I did want to play some arcade games just to kind of give you guys an overall feel how it plays, and then we'll play some Daytona USA as well, so that you guys can see that it plays at that full 60 frames per second, no issues at all. So one thing I wanted to mention, you'll see my setup here. I've gone with a dual screen setup. Just like the real arcade, every machine would have its own marquee up at the top, and I wanted to duplicate that. So at the top, I've got a 32-inch TV strictly displaying the game's artwork as far as the marquee, and then down below obviously is your main image. And what I've done with this particular emulator is I've added basically bezel artwork, just like the real machine would have around the monitor bezel. If I step away here, if you look at my Street Fighter, you'll see the artwork around the monitor. And so now with software these days, you're able to duplicate that. And having said that, I also added shaders to the image. And what shaders are is basically scan lines. If you remember playing on an old CRT television, like a tube television, you'll remember it had those lines, what we call scan lines. And so what that does is basically filter out a lot of the sharp edges within the image and whatnot. It kind of almost blurs it out. And I really like the authentic look of the CRT, to the point my Street Fighter still has the original CRT monitor. And again, with software, you're able to duplicate that. So I'll show the differences now using Outrun with shaders and without shaders. One thing to keep in mind if you're venturing into something like this, shaders do use a lot of graphical power. So if you're planning on using your onboard video on your computer, if it's powerful enough, you'll have no issues at all. If it's not powerful enough, then you'll have some slowdown issues, and therefore I recommend using an external graphics card. I'm using a 1050 Ti on this one. I think it's a 4 gigabyte card, I'm not sure now. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into some gameplay. apologize if my big bald head is in the way. I'm still trying to get used to the camera angles and whatnot. Decided to try something new with my phone. I recently updated it, and within the camera section, they introduced the ability to film in dual view mode, which I'm using now. And I think I quite like it. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but let me know. One thing too with this version of Outrun in Mame, it's got full force feedback support as well. So just like a real game, if you go off-road or if you crash, your steering wheel will start to vibrate a lot. I actually, when I owned my Outrun, I had to turn off the feature because it was so violent that it would shake the cabinet. And you can see the steering wheel move right there, or shake right there, I should say. It used to be so violent that it just shook the cabinet side to side. So, actually, Sega used the same sort of setup, I believe, in Afterburner. And I think maybe Super Hang-On, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm out of practice. I haven't played this in so long, I don't even think I'm going to make the first stage. Oh, no, I am. There we go. Definitely won't make the second one, that's for sure. But I just wanted to show you guys. I mean, how wicked is it playing Outrun with a wheel? You know, like you don't want to play Outrun on a joystick. It's not doing the game any justice. And I mean, the music is just classic. You know, one of these days I'm going to cheat. I have cheats enabled in Mame, and I'm just going to add like infinite time or whatever, and I'm just going to cruise, you know, the entire game without even having to worry. Just enjoy the music and cruising, you know, along the green grass fields here with my girlfriend. My wife found out, she wouldn't be too happy, that's for sure. But hey, it's just a game, right? So. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I'm out of practice here. Yeah, I'm not even going to make it. I'm not even going to make it. Told you I would make the second one. But anyway, guys, there's Outrun. Super, super fun game. So, once I'm done playing here, I'll just hit my X button, which is my exit button. It takes me back to the main menu. And then, obviously, I have a lot of games, you know, here set up through Mame. I don't want to go through every single one of them. There's my Continental Circuit that I really miss. Super, super fun. Chase HQ, which is another fun one. And one game, too, I forgot to mention. The reason why I built this was around hard driving. So hard driving was one of the first, if not the first, 3D polygon driving simulators created by Atari. And my local high school arcade pockets had this game in the sit-down version, just as you see in the flyer. And it was $1 a play, and you know, back then in, you know, my teenage years, I didn't have, you know, my license. You know, you wanted to learn how to drive, and this was it. It had a clutch, 4-speed, you know, gear shifter, you know, full force feedback, and it gave you that feel of driving a real car. Years later, when I was collecting arcade machines, I had a chance to pick up this machine for I think $100. And it was fully working, but it was, I looked at the specs, it weighed 750 pounds. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. You can't get it into the basement, got to leave it in the garage, and it's just not worth it. So one day I'll be able to play this game in its former glory. And so that's one of the reasons why I built, you know, this driving setup as well. Because now I'm able to enjoy, you know, playing the game, you know, with the stick shift and the clutch as well. So we'll do a quick gameplay here. And you can see the steering wheel is moving just like the real machine. The real machine, depending on what was happening on the screen, the wheel would move to mimic, obviously, the movements of the cars. So, just going up here, and yeah, we're going to go with 1 credit. Yeah, must use stick shift. Let's go first gear. Oh, a little bit squirrely there. Super, super fun to play. Oh, I almost blew the motor on that one. Oh boy, oh boy. It is so difficult to play because the wheel jerks you from like side to side, right? Just like a real car. So you try to keep the wheel straight and it's like it's not going. gonna spin out here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the wheels just give. Oh, come on. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make this first lap, but you never know. It's just difficult to play when the wheel is kind of jerking back and forth. I mean, I kind of get it. They went for realism, but you know, when you're playing the game, you know, you're trying to keep like, yeah, there we go. There's a crash. Even though I wasn't going too fast, hit the abort button, and I stalled the car. Little burnout. Yeah, we're not gonna make this first lap. Come from? Are you kidding? Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, that was that was something. Couldn't even complete the first lap. Oh man. All right, maybe we'll give it another. By the way, it said cheats enable. I'm not cheating, by the way, just for the record. And first gear. Maybe we'll go for the stun track this time. Out of the way, man. I know, I drive like a granny, I know. You gotta be careful though, because any little thing will send the car spinning out of control, so you gotta be careful. This was a Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, there it is. I saw that one coming. Already way too fast. Yes, and for the record, I don't drive like this in real life. So that you guys are probably wondering. No, this is one of my favorite parts of the game, like this loop here. And of course, the steering wheel is jerking back and forth. Oh, we can have enough. Oh my God, we got it. Oh boy, another Dukes of Hazzard moment. Yep. Man, not my day today. So we reach a checkpoint. The steering wheel is just jerking today like crazy, man. Like, honestly, like sometimes the wheel's got a mind of its own, because there's times I play the wheel really doesn't jerk this much and it just makes the game a lot easier to play. Today it's just not cooperating for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I mean, the game may seem a little bit corny now, but I mean, back in the day, man, this was it. You know what I mean? There wasn't really any other driving simulator, right? So yeah, we're not even gonna make the first lap on this. Yeah, the wheel is just too jerky for my own liking. Yeah, it's just jerking like crazy today. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, so that's hard driving. When you're done again, hit the X button. You know, it goes back to your main menu. So I'll do some gameplay on Daytona USA so you guys can see. And you know, I don't want to extend the video any longer than it needs to. I mean, if there's any questions you guys have in relation to the games I've got on this, on how to get some of these games working, whatever the case may be, you know, feel free to reach out. Yeah, I'm gonna go beginner, of course. Nobody does. No, I'm really not a matter. Nobody does, you know, manual and like difficult on this. So it's Daytona. You just go around and around. That's the best part about this. Select different views here. There we go. Out of the way, man. And this game does have full force feedback as well, although sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I haven't figured out the issue yet. Like with hard driving, I was getting way too much force feedback. In Daytona, I don't get any, so I don't know. I have to figure out what the issue is, but it does work when it decides to work. It is a super fun game as well to play, obviously. I remember playing this game at Sega, when Sega used to own Palladium in Mississauga, and they had a few of these games, well, they had a few Daytona USA's kind of linked together. It was super, super fun to play. This and Indy 500 were two of my favorite Sega racers back in the 90s. Man, it's so difficult to turn that corner there without going over the grass. I can't even get past like 32nd. I'm like, that's terrible. Just wish my full force feedback would work. It just makes it a lot more fun to play. Like right now, it's not working for whatever reason. Hopefully I can pass these guys here. And of course, you know, the one corner that gets me every time. But I think we're good though. This is definitely one of those timeless classics. They released a lot of different versions for the home consoles and whatnot. Oh, come on, man. And it doesn't matter which format you play Daytona USA, it's always fun. Yeah, I don't even think we're going to make this lap. Almost.
You plays.
Yeah, anyway, 27 place, best place I could finish. Anyway, guys, so yeah, that's it. That's an overview of my cab, if you want to call it a cab, driving setup, driving rig, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I do have different emulators here with all different games and whatnot. Again, I don't want to go too in depth unless you guys, you know, want me to. Then I can always make a second video if you want. But as of right now, yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. And as always, thanks for watching.